Hello, so this is probably your first time watching this video, or maybe it's my first time recording the video for this class. So this is about the perimeter and the area of a composite shape. Now composite means that you are combining different shapes. But in this case, we're going to make it as simple as possible by combining two regular shapes that you know of, for example, like triangle, square, rectangle, circle, etc., etc. Okay. Sometimes it's not just combining or adding two shapes, but sometimes you subtract one shape from another. Okay, and we will do two different things. So first, now the first one is the definition. So perimeter. I somehow cannot pronounce this word properly sometimes. So perimeter is the distance around it. Remember, it's the around, it's the outside, it's around, right? Now, then the second definition is, so something is the number of square units needed to cover. So it means cover. What is covering it? It's covering the inside of the shape, right? So that's basically then area. So these two should be very familiar to you since we've been dealing with since probably grade 3 maybe grade 4, right? Now the next one is something is made up of more than one simple shape. So in this case, it means composite figures or composite shapes. So composite figures. Now, or maybe figure, since it's a singular. See, I follow English. Now, tips. So try to make a shape by adding a shape or divide the whole shape into regular or simple shapes. Okay, so take a look at the first one. Well, the first one, if you take a look at it, find the perimeter and the area of the first one. Now, this one, I'm going to say these two are parallel, these two are parallel, so we know this is going to be a parallelogram. Now, the area of the parallelogram, the formula is the base times height. It's pretty much the same as the rectangle, and the reason is if you actually take this one off, and you can add all the way down there, and as you can see, then it is going to be a rectangle, right? So that's why they're the same. So, oh, by the way, the formulas will be given to you for the areas and the perimeter, as well as the volume and the surface area later on. So make sure you know how to use them. Do not think that, oh, the formulas are given, it will be easy. Well, trust me, since the formulas are given, the questions are not going to be that simple, okay? So it is very important for you to be able to utilize the formulas as quick as possible rather than juggling around, okay? So your area is then 12.4 meters times then 7.6 meters. And that gives me, so 12.4 times 7.6. So 12.4 times 7.6, and that gives me 94.24. So 92 point, was it 92 point? Oh God, my memory is getting worse. 94.24. So 94.24. Now remember, it's a square meters. Okay, it's a square meters. Remember, the area of a 2D shape is always a square. The problem is, though, it says nearest tenth. Now, what it means by nearest to tenth, just in case you're not so familiar with the term, it means one decimal place. Obviously, if it is hundredth, then it is two decimal places, etc. Okay, so then we basically rounded to 94.2 square meters. Now then the perimeter is then everything around it. So this is going to be 12.4 meters too. This is going to be 8.1 meter. So you basically add everything up. So 12.4 meters plus 12.4 meters plus 8.1 meters plus 8.1 meters. Now this one then becomes, let's see, so 21.4 meters, 21.4 meters, 8.1, that should be 59. So, oops, that was 12.4. So again, 12.4 plus 12.4 plus 8.1 plus 8.1, and that gives me 41. So then it will be 41 meter. Now remember, it's a perimeter. It's a one-dimensional because it is just length. So no square for this. Now later on, I may not give you this. okay? I may just give you the height, and I may give you probably just this part so that you will be able to find this one, and you will be able to find this one using Pythagorean theorem. So be really careful of this, okay? Now, then, let's take a look at the next one. So next one now is not something that we are familiar with. It looks very weird, right? However, if you take a look at it, this one has this triangle. And hopefully you can see this. This one has a square. Now, why is this square? See that this one is the same as this one, also same as this one. So obviously it is going to be the same as the missing side over there. So we have a square, hopefully you can see it. But then you take this one out, right? So in this case, we have 3 steps. So first we have to add the triangle, and then the square. In this case, is a right angle triangle. And then we subtract that half circle. Okay? And then we subtract that half circle. So that's what we have to do. So let's take a look at the triangle for now. I'm going to just move this one to the side so that we have more space. I'll just move it to the side. So in the triangles area, we need the base. Now, do we know the base? We do not know the base. I will call this one as, sure, x for now. Now, since this is a right angle triangle, this one is going to be the hypotenuse, and I'm going to call this one A and this one B as usual. Now, using this, so for the triangle's base, so I'm going to call that x squared plus a squared, a squared plus x squared equals 17 squared. Now, question is, what is a though, right? It doesn't really say, but if you take a look at it, that side A is equal to this 15 feet. So this means 15 squared plus x squared equals 17 squared, and that is 225 plus x squared equals 17 squared. I think it is, let's see, 17 squared. Okay, so that is 289. So that is 289. Oops. So we subtract 225 on both so that you will have only x squared. And that gives me 64. And then square root of the x squared and the 64 to get rid of the square. So that means x being 8. So we found this being 8. Okay. So then the area of that triangle is going to be 8 times the base, height 15 divided by 2, and I believe that is a 60. So 60 feet square. So we found the triangle. Next one is then, area of the square, right? So the square, well, square is easy. It is 15 feet times 15 feet, or 15 feet squared, and that becomes 225 feet square. So that was easy. So that's check, and then the last one is going to be the half circle. Now remember the circle's area is pi r squared. So in this case, it is pi r squared, and the question is, what is r? R is basically half of, let me actually see whether I can do this. See, this one is 15 feet. Since it's a square, r is half of a diameter, and hopefully you can see that this side over there is the diameter of that circle, or the half circle. So r is half of 15, which gives me 7.5. So now we're going to just assume that pi is approximately 3.14, and we're going to keep that number here. So then your area of this, so area of the half circle, is then 3.14 times 7.5 squared. And I guess I have to be making this one a little shorter. So using your calculator, 3.14 times 7.5 squared. Now then, see that that one is 176, but don't forget that we have to divide everything by 2 since it's a half circle. So it was 176. Oops. And then divided by 2, that gives me 88.3125. So I'm just going to call it 88.125, so 13. Right? Now, then it says nearest to decimal. Well, you can round it in the middle of it or at the end of it. I usually recommend it to round it at the end of it. So the total area, as we can see, is not 60, 8 feet squared plus 60. Ooh, I did it wrong. Not 8. Right, this is 8 feet. So 60 plus 225 minus 88.13. And that gives me, so 60, 225, 88.13. 60, 225, 88.13. And that gives me 196.87. So I'm going to say that is 196.87. I'm going to round it to 9. So that is pretty much it for the area. Ooh, this is going to be a little too big. Okay, so let's actually decrease the size of it. Ooh, okay. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit. So then feet squared. Okay, so that is the area. So this is basically the area. I'm going to put, that's the area. Okay, now then the perimeter. So if you take a look at this, we know this one's 8. We know 17, 15, 15. Now we do not add the A, right? That's the inside. So we're only adding the outside. So the only part that is missing is then, if you take a look at it, I'm going to erase it, is then this one, right? But if you take a look at it, that's the perimeter of a half circle, which we call it circumference of a half circle. So for the perimeter, I'm going to put this one in blue. So for the perimeter, it is 17 plus 8 plus 15 plus. This is a top 15, bottom 15, subtracting this thing, right? So the circumference of half circle is very simple because it's a half of the full circle's circumference. Now, full circle's circumference is basically 2 pi r, or pi d, divided by 2, right? But again, we already know what the r is, right? So r, so in this case, d is 15, so r is 7.5. Therefore, this becomes equals 17 plus 8, that is 15, 25, 55 minus 2 times 3.14 the pi times 7.5 divided by 2. And this is, so, okay. So, then this is 55 minus, and then 2 times 3.14 times 15 divided by 2, 7.9. So the perimeter is, not, why am I, okay. Sorry, I made a mistake. You're not subtracting, you're adding that, right? You're adding that, you're adding this little thing. So you're adding this. So I have to go back to the calculator and fix that mistake. And 102.1. 102.1. Now this one is perimeter, so just the feet rather than the square. So that's how we can do in terms of the composite. The B actually does have 3 shapes all in one. So be really careful with this.